I'm Arlene Herson, and today's Central Park is not just Central Park, it's Fantasyland, and obviously the place to be. We're at a Victorian boating party to benefit the Metropolitan Opera. We might go for a boat ride on the flower-filled gondolas, listen to an operatic or pop performance, watch a puppet show, or in our case, interview fabulous guests. It's all to benefit the Metropolitan Opera's Young Artist Program. Stay with us, share in the excitement. We'll be right back after these messages. I'm Arlene Herson, and here we are at this fabulous benefit for the Metropolitan Opera, and we're joined by two of tonight's chairmen, Kimberly Farkas and Cece. And thank you for having us here. This is a very exciting time. I mean, there are puppet shows and there's all kinds of things. We have music in the background. Placido Domingo is here. Whose idea was this?
I think it was a group idea. We all spend so much time raising funds and going out during the week, and we come home to get dressed and the children say, "Mommy, not again," that we thought it would be fun to do something that our children could also participate in, that they would be able to share with us, that would be a fun evening, and that would also be a fundraising event. And so Cece and I have been playing with this idea for a long time, and I think that's really what it came out of.
Okay, well, there's certainly a lot of children here. Do you both have children here?
Yes, we both have children, and also it seemed like a logical way to introduce children to the opera in an easy picnic atmosphere with the family all together, and little by little ease them into opera. And that was actually how the whole party began.
Okay, actually, you know, that's what I read about, that really that this is a family, to kind of encourage families to share the love of music and the arts together, which is a terrific idea, I must say. But here, there are opera singers, there are clowns, balloons,
Monkeys, chimpanzees.
But if you think of the opera, it includes all of those things. It was originally designed as an event that was for families, for every kind of person. It wasn't, I think the opera perhaps has become a little bit rarefied, and people think, oh, well, only if I know a lot about music can I go to the opera. And it's really not that way. You can enjoy the opera from the littlest to the biggest.
True. Well, we're going to enjoy tonight. It's getting dark now. So for the audience that can't see what's been going on here, can you just give us a little description of some of these fabulous things that you've planned here, like the gondolas on the lake?
Puppet shows.
Gondolas, puppet shows. The boats were available. We have an organ grinder. We have a monkey. We have people who make animals into balloons into animals. We have portrait artists. What else? What have I missed?
Not much, I don't think.
We have wonderful picnics, which hopefully will suit everyone and be a light summer, and everybody can enjoy and mix and mingle. And
ice cream cards, old-fashioned
the ice cream cards haven't come yet.
They're on their way.
Okay, well, I have to say it's a wonderful party. I know that the two of you are chairmen, and I'm taking you away from your guests. I'm going to interview some of your guests, and I thank you very much, Kimberly Farkas, who is on the far end, and Cece in the middle. I thank you for having us here.
Thank you for coming and enjoy your evening.
Thank you. We'll be right back. I'm Arlene Herson, and we're back at this wonderful benefit for the Metropolitan Opera, and we're joined now by Placido Domingo. Perhaps the greatest tenor of all time, a superstar in the opera, but I hear also a superstar as a person. And thank you for taking time from the party to join us.
First of all, you say it very well, Placido, yes?
Yes, well...
People somehow somehow they have problems with the accent, you know. They said Placido. You know, they don't realize the accent is with the A, Placido. That's the right way to say it. That's wonderful.
Okay, so we'll tell everybody it's Placido Domingo.
Placido.
Actually, tonight's a special night for you, special night for me because you're here, but I hear that you are celebrating 19 years with the Metropolitan Opera.
19 years ago, I was just coming back from my rehearsal from the Metropolitan when I have a phone call from Mr. Bing then and said, Placido, said you have to make your debut tonight because somebody else is sick. So I went back to the theater, and that was my debut exactly 19 years ago. A little bit ahead of schedule. I was going to make it 4 days later, so I actually have 2 debuts.
Okay, well, were you nervous? I mean, you weren't prepared.
I don't have the chance to be nervous, you know. I rushed to the theater. Actually, it was the best thing that could happen. It was better than if I would wait for my real debut, you know, because things happen so unexpected, I don't even have the time to get nervous.
Do you know something? When you say you don't have the time, you have the busiest schedule of anybody that I know. Your wife, Marta, who is not here, as a matter of fact, in an article, had mentioned that you're the kind of person you can sing a full opera, you can go out to dinner, you can get home at 5 o'clock in the morning and think nothing about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning being rehearsal the next day. She said you have the constitution of a horse.
Well, the thing is this, that's right, I work very much, but also you have to be fair. I mean, people only talk about the time you work, they never talk about the time you rest. That's not interesting, of course, you know. I mean, if I spend 2 weeks resting or 3 weeks resting or 1 week or whatever is the time, nobody will publish that. I know how to take care of myself, I know how to rest, but I am a very hard worker and I love to work, yes.
There was one time that you even did an opening night, 2 opening nights, one on the East Coast in New York at the Metropolitan Opera, and then in San Francisco at the Opera.
Yes, because
flew back and forth the same day.
Somebody else canceled, but it was not the same day. You cannot open both houses in the same day, you know?
Okay.
But with difference of days, yes.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that obviously you do find, how do you relax? I mean, how does Placido finally say, okay, I'm going to put my feet up so that I can keep the schedule?
Well, I do relax very much. I'm a great lover of sports. I follow sports very much, so I go to see sports, so I go to follow them on television, and I like to enjoy free time with my children and my wife, my parents, with friends. I have a very intense life, but I certainly know how to rest, yes.
Okay. Your life has been music. Your wife is formerly an opera singer. Actually, she gave up a career to help you and to manage your career, but your parents were both opera. They're not opera singers. Zarzuela?
Yes,
did I say that right?
Zarzuela singers, yes, they used to sing, and of course I learned from them, you know, most of the things I know, and I'm very proud to sometimes to give some concerts with the Spanish music, which is the music my parents used to sing, you know.
Your parents originally, I read, discouraged you from going on the stage. They thought it was a very difficult life, and you were trained to be a pianist.
That's right, a pianist, and they want me to be a pianist, but it never hurt me. I mean, I learned to play the piano, I learned to conduct, and I am using everything in my career, you know.
Okay, but how did it happen? I mean, you were going to play the piano. How did you make the transition? I mean, thank heavens you did, but when did...
You know, you cannot stop something that you want to do. I want to do it, so all of a sudden, when they don't realize, I sneak into the stage and I was singing there.
I read that your father heard you sing on the stage for the first time.
Yes.
And his mouth opened. He couldn't believe that was his son.
That's right, yes. It was a peculiar moment of that work. Then it was very popular, you know, like a chorus, the whole chorus, and always a soloist sings. So I was in the chorus. And my father never expected that I was going to walk, you know, to the front and sing the soloist. So I did that, and that was quite a surprise for me. Yes.
Okay, well, thank heavens you did. At one point, I heard, too, that you almost became a professional soccer player. You mentioned earlier you like sports.
Right. I love football, soccer. That's my sport, and I enjoyed very much playing, I enjoyed very much watching, and of course perhaps if I wouldn't like so much music, perhaps I will be you know, a goalkeeper or forward playing football.
Well, I'm sure glad. I bet you didn't. I think the whole world is glad.
I'm very
that
glad
you-
I didn't.
Yeah,
I think
you're very glad.
I'm convinced that I'm a better singer than football player.
Oh, no doubt about it. You have 3 sons. I mean, you've come from such a musical family. Your wife also. Your parents. What about any of your sons going into the profession?
Well, the 3, they like it very much what I do. They like very much music. But the one in the middle, Placido, he's a great composer. He was studying at the Hochschule in Vienna, and now he's starting in Yale also here, Connecticut. So he's already writing some music, very important music. At the moment he's doing the sound for a film based for children, based on Oliver Twist cartoons, you know. So it is, he's very, very talented, and I'm sure that he's going to be a great composer.
Okay. Well, he's coming from the right family. You have 3 sons. 1 son from your first marriage.
Yes.
You were married the first time at 16 years old.
That's right.
At 17, you were a father. Why did you marry so young?
But can you? I mean, I was very young. I was very romantic. So you find a girl when you are in school, and you think that's it, and that it wasn't, you know. But you think that that's going to be it.
At 16.
So that was, in any case, I always think everything for the best, you know. So I have an early experience, and it was not a very good one, but okay, I have a boy from that marriage, and then now since 25 years I have a marvelous wife, which we are together, and we have another 2 boys. So it's wonderful, and I started my career perhaps earlier because of the circumstances. So I'm not sorry, I'm just very happy it happens that way.
Yeah. And you have a wonderful family. You and your wife are very devoted to each other, but you really care. A few years ago during the Mexican earthquake, you canceled all performances. You went to Mexico to do what you could to help.
Yes, I was, unfortunately, I was directly involved because 4 members of my family, they died in the earthquake, and I was living so much with all these families, and they were affected by the earthquake, then I realized that they needed help. So I started doing some concerts, and I have been able to help about 750 families out of those concerts, so I'm very, very, very happy that I can help into something that maybe it's just like a drop of water in the ocean because there's so much need, but at least 750 families is a nice number.
Yeah, well, I must say there aren't a lot of people that would do what you did. You're still doing things to help the earthquake victims. You're doing a lot to help people by being here today, and I'm taking a lot of your time.
No, I'm very pleased, you know, to try it. I mean, this is a nice party. This is a way of introducing new people to opera, introducing new families with the children to the world of opera. And it's a benefit for the Metropolitan Opera, for the young singers, which I know they need it very much. So I'm very happy here.
Wow. You know, I just am in the process of reading your book. You have done so much already. I mean, and you're still such a young man. You wrote a book called My First 40 Years. So much is packed into that book, but I get the feeling you're really just starting. I mean, you still have so much to do and so many places to go and so many operas to sing.
So God help me. I hope, yes, I still have a lot of time in front of me. I hope so.
Well, I'm glad whatever time you spent with us.
Thank you very much.
I thank you for taking time
Thank
from
you,
the
it's
party.
my pleasure, and I hope that all these young kids that we are seeing now dressed, you know, in Victorian costumes and so on, will be the great public loving opera tomorrow.
Yes, well, you know, that they are, as a matter of fact, they are here, but they're going to see different opera than I think you saw as a child, or even I saw as a child. Just opera singers used to be very fat.
Yes.
Remember? As a matter of fact, I looked at some pictures in your book. Used to be.
Oh
kind
yes,
of,
I have been up and down on weight, you know, but I try to keep it as low as I can. It's difficult, believe me.
well, difficult for all of us, as a matter of fact. But all opera singers are no longer fat. They're no longer believable. When did that
No,
change?
so much like before, no. But you see also for the painters, you know, you see the Rubens ladies, and they were very exuberant, and that was apparently very, it was, you know, the most sexy and the in thing, you know, to be fat, you know, today is not.
No, okay, well, we're all going to work at it, but I thank you very much
Thank
for
you
taking
very
the
much.
time
Thank you,
and
pleasure.
spending time with us. Well, we've been here with Placido Domingo. He's going to join the party, and we're going to speak to more people, so please stay right there. I'm Arlene Herson, and here we are again at this wonderful benefit for the Metropolitan Opera. And I'm joined now by Clarice Taylor. You've probably seen Clarice as Bill Cosby's mother, Grandma Huxtable, on The Cosby Show. You can also see her off-Broadway starring in Moms. Tonight, of course, she's here with us. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you know, I kind of wonder, you are doing Moms, and I want to talk about being on The Cosby Show. Playing with Bill Cosby, playing his mom, that must be very
Something
special.
It really is. And Bill is wonderful and great and it's a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun. But the kids, they're so wonderful. You know, when you walk into rehearsal, because I'm not on every week, I'm on occasionally. But when you go into rehearsal, and they really don't see the scripts ahead of time, and as soon as you walk in, Grandma, 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 puts you right in the mood. The rest is easy.
Was there a lot of competition for that role?
Yes. Well, I can't say too much. You know what happened? I was called about a couple of months before I went in for the audition for Bill to be Felicia's mother. And Felicia and I are good friends, and we have worked together many times. We were in the Wiz together, and we were roommates all across the country. So we had played in Duplex, at City Center and Lincoln Center, and I knew her. She's like my daughter. So of course, when I knew I was going down to audition to be her mother, I was up early in the morning beating the face. You know how we're doing it all just to go in and got me a little tight jeans. You know, I'm going to be cute enough to be Felicia's mother. So Jay, who's the director, he said, well, he said, I like your reading, but if you don't get it because you're too young. He didn't mean young in age. I had presented too youthful a picture. So when they called me, I was very disappointed. Then when they called me for Bill's mother, I said, oh, I'll show him who's young. I got a gray wig. I put a bandana on. They almost had to hook me in for the audition. And he saw right through it, and he's so wonderful. He burst out laughing, you know. So.
And you got the part.
Yes.
Which is wonderful. Wonderful exposure. And even though you mentioned you're only on occasionally there, not all the time, you are on every single night right now off Broadway in Moms.
Right. Yes, that's a great show. You know, it's a comedy. People scream all through it. You know, Moms was a little raunchy, you know, a little double innuendo. She never used dirty words, but she don't. And then there's a cast of 3 of us, and we dance and we sing. It's a great evening.
Okay, great evening, but interesting, story behind it. Because first of all, you're the person who really single-handedly decided to put this on Broadway, off Broadway, or to make a play of it. Normally, actors don't do that. Normally, actors just do what they're told.
Right.
You raise the money.
Oh, yes.
Okay, and Moms, I mean, she's not just a funny person. She had a tragic life.
She did, and I guess a lot of comedians, a lot of people in the limelight, you just don't know what they've gone through to get where they are. You don't know. And she, like many others, she did. She was a black child born in the South, North Carolina, raped at 11 by one of her father's workers, and then by a sheriff of the town, and 2 children before she's 14. It's tragedy. But but mind you, the play doesn't dwell on this tragedy. We get it in, but it's in between the fun.
Yes.
But she did, and but she ended up being, she had a Rolls Royce and a house in Westchester County, and these gnats are just part of the outdoor scene.
Yes.
And she really ended up with, and she left quite a bit of money. it.
Yeah, okay, she did very
She
well from somebody, you know, when you mentioned she had 2 children before 14, she had to give those children away.
She gave them away.
She couldn't, you know, take care of them.
Well, you know, in those days, like today, it's different. See, you're so young. But today, in those days, if, like you say, your daughter went bad, or they say made a mistake, either the mother and the daughter went away, and when they came back, it was the mother's child, and it was raised as the daughter's sister, or else the child was given away, because, you know, you couldn't go into your church, or you couldn't face your neighbors if your daughter had, what they say, had gotten big, or...
That's interesting, but it's amazing how you felt that you were going to take Mom's Mabley, who most people today don't remember, and make her a star again. Why did you feel that way?
You know, sometimes we don't always decide things. Sometimes things are decided for us. You know, I don't want to sound kooky, but you know, do you ever try something and you just pushed and pushed and pushed? And I don't know exactly why it took this dimension. All I ever hoped to do was a little weekend performance of Mom's Mabley's material, and it just went into, it's like she took it and went off, somebody took it and went off, and it's all right.
Okay, it's all right. I don't want to spend the whole time talking about Moms, only because she's such a fascinating lady, and you have made her and play her wonderfully. And by the way, audience, if you haven't seen it, see it, because the reviews also are terrific. But let's get back to Clarice Taylor.
Right.
Okay?
All right.
I mean, you do some very unusual things. Your grandma on television. But you also, I saw a big picture of you in the newspaper. You devote your time to a grandmother service in the hospital that
The Border
helps.
Babies.
Exactly.
And
Okay,
before I
tell
get
us
on the
about
Border Babies, to all my young audience out there, you know, I'm David's grandmother on Sesame Street and have been for 7 years. But get back to the Border Babies. Yes, you know, the Border Babies, they're born to women on the street. You know, a lot of women on the street are raped, and they're born to dope addicts. They're born to young girls who the mother has said, you cannot bring another one here. I just have not money to feed another mouth. And they're left in the hospital from birth, and they're there. They're called Border Babies, and they're on their little haunches with their little faces like this on a plastic mat, because they don't have attention, and in case they spit up, they won't drown in their own spittle, because the nurses can only do but so much, and they never cry. They're so institutionalized. They have nothing to cry for. It's so sad, but it's really not sad when you go there. We want people to go and just hug a baby 4 hours a week and pick a baby up, a little newborn bundle, and let them feel the warmth of another body, because they have not felt that since they came through the channel. And just talk to them.
Yeah.
And just say that, you know, it's going to be all right.
Well, actually, it's wonderful that you give your time for this. A little personal, you have children. Do you
I have
have
grandchildren.
You have grandchildren. My
Yeah.
goodness. How many children?
I have 2 grands, a little boy and a little girl, Jason and Kristen.
In an article that I read about you, when they asked what was your most achieved, I don't know, it was kind of your greatest achievements, and you said your children.
Well, that must have been a good day, because sometimes I feel like they're my worst achievement. You know, I was interviewed once, and I was just, well, do you have children?
Yes.
Well, and my youngest one, who just can put a hurting on your heart sometime, and I guess he just said, because the interviewer said, well, tell me something about your children. I talked about my oldest one, who's a detective, and so forth. And they said, what about the other one? I stopped. I said, could you help me think of something nice to say about him?
Well, I can say a lot of nice things about you, and we're right here in the midst of the party. You're a grandma on with Bill Cosby, a grandmother on Sesame Street,
Yes.
a grandmother in real life, and a terrific person in real life. And I thank you for taking time from the party. And I know they're serving dinner, and I'm sure that you're going to want to have it.
Okay.
Thank you for spending time with us here. I hope that you've enjoyed meeting a little bit of Clarice Taylor here at the party. I think she's a fascinating lady. Stay with us. We've got lots more guests. evening is over here in Central Park at this wonderful benefit to benefit the Metropolitan Opera. We've met a lot of people interested in opera, not just interested in having a good time. We talked with Kimberly Farkas and Cece, two of the co-chairmen of this wonderful benefit, Placido Domingo, who is incredible, and Clarice Taylor, a wonderful actress. I hope that you enjoyed meeting them, being here in the park with us, and that you'll join us again next week. Meantime, good night. Hope to see you then.